I would say good morning, but it's not such a good morning. It's a good day, and Liz would tell us that it's a good day. But I want to welcome you all. Oh, you know what? We have things that are attached to this, so that maybe Phil can hear a little better. But I would like to welcome you all, and I'm assuming there are many, many people on YouTube that are also here with you, because so many people want to be with you and support you and love Liza, and this is an important day. So I want to begin with a poem. I was loved, therefore I am. I was loved, therefore I am, and in being loved, I am treasured. When I peel away my layers and all that was left was my essence, the bareness of me, I was still loved. I was loved, therefore I am, and in being loved, I was able to grow. In my mistakes, held. In my successes, celebrated. I was always loved. I was loved, therefore I am. And in being loved, I learned to love. In the sun-filled day, in the ecstasy of the night, I was loved and loved others. To be loved is all you need. I was loved, and so I will always be. Adonai madam vateda'ehu ben enosh vatachashvehu ben enosh vatachashvehu Adam lahevel dama yamav ketzel over baboker yatzitz vechalaf laerev yimolel v'yavesh tashev enosh adaka vatomer shuvu v'nei adam. Adonai, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath. Our days are like a passing shadow. We come and go like grass, which in the morning shoots up renewed, and in the evening fades and withers. You cause us to turn to dust, saying, "Return, O mortal creatures." Would that we were wise, that we understood whither we are going. For when we die, we carry nothing away. Our glory does not accompany us. Mark the wholehearted, and behold the upright, for they shall have peace. We are assembled with our friends in the darkness that has fallen upon us. We raise our voices together to the source of life, asking for comfort and strength. We need light when gloom darkens our lives. We need fortitude and courage when pain and loss assail us. May we find these in God, who preserves from destruction all that is good. Let us find them too in loved ones and companions who do God's work by binding up the wounds of the stricken. Who among us has not passed through trials and bereavements? Some bear fresh wounds in their hearts and therefore feel more keenly the kinship of sorrow. Others, whose days of mourning are more remote, still recall the comfort that sympathy brought to their sorrowing hearts. May our sharing of sorrow and our deeds of solace bring comfort to the loved ones of Elizabeth Zeitlin Levinsky, Elisheva Bat Guta Rachel, V'Chaim Gedalia. It's so easy to find readings that there are so many readings that would reflect Liza's personality, and this one especially. This is my prayer to you, my God. Let not my spirit wither and shrivel in its thirst for you, and lose the dew with which you sprinkled it when I was young. May my heart be open to every broken soul, to orphaned life, to every stumbler wandering unknown and groping in the shadow. Bless my eyes, purify me to see humanity's beauty rise up in the world, and the glory of my people in its redeemed land, spreading its fragrance over all the earth. Deepen and broaden my senses to absorb a fresh, green, flowering world, to take from it the secret of blossoming in silence. Grant strength to yield fine fruits, quintessence of my life, steeped in my very being, without expectation of reward. And when my time comes, let me slip into the night, demanding nothing, God, of humanity or of you. Ezehu mechubad hamekabed et habriot. Who is honored? One who honors, loves, and cares for other human beings. Psalm 23. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, bino desher yarbitzeni, amei menuchot yanachaleni. Nafshi yeshovev, nafshi yeshovev, yancheni b'magle tzedek, leman shemo. Kam ki elech begetz almavet, lo irara ki ata imadi, shivtecha umi shantecha, shivtecha umi shantecha, hema yenachamuni, taruch lefanai shulchan, taruch lefanai shulchan, taruch lefanai shulchan, neged sorerai, dishanta v'shemen roshi, dishanta v'shemen roshi, dishanta v'shemen roshi, kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol Vishavti, Vishavti beveit Adonai, Vishavti beveit Adonai, leorech yamim, yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai lai 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 dai, yalalai lai lai lai, yananai lai lai lai, hai lai lai, hai nai nai. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And a poem that I have not read in a long time. Excuse me, it's very dry in here. I've not read this in a long time, but I remembered it immediately after seeing Liza just the other night. It's called A Mother's Blessing. The young mother set her foot on the path of life. Is the way long? She asked. And her guide said yes, and the way is hard. And you will be old before you reach the end of it. But the end will be better than the beginning. But the young mother was happy, and she would not believe that anything could be better than these years. So she played with her children and gathered flowers for them along the way, and bathed with them in the clear stream, and the sun shone on them, and life was good. And the young mother cried, "Nothing will ever be lovelier than this." The night came, and storm, and the path was dark, and the children shook with fear and cold, and the mother drew them close and covered them with her mantle. And her children said, "O mother, we are not afraid, for you are near, and no harm can come." And mother said, "This is better than the brightness of the day, for I have taught my children courage." And the morning came, and there was a hill ahead, and the children climbed and grew weary, and the mother was weary. But at all times she said to the children, "A little patience, and we are there." So the children climbed, and when they reached the top, they said, "We could not have done it without you, mother." And the mother, when she lay down that night, looked up at the stars and said, "This is a better day than the last, for my children have learned fortitude in the face of hardness. Yesterday I gave them courage, today I have given them strength." And the next day came strange clouds which darkened the earth, clouds of war and hate and evil, and the children groped and stumbled, and mother said, "Look up, lift your eyes to the light." And the children looked and saw above the clouds an everlasting glory, and it guided them and brought them beyond the darkness. And that night the mother said, "This is the best day of all, for I have shown my children God." And the days went on, and the weeks, and the months, and the years, and the mother grew old, and she was little and bent. But her children were all tall and strong, and walked with courage. And when the way was hard, they helped their mother. And when the way was rough, they lifted her, for she was as light as a feather. And at last they came to a hill, and beyond the hill they could see a shining road and golden gates flung wide. And the mother said, "I have reached the end of my journey, and now I know that the end is better than the beginning, for my children can walk alone, and their children after them." And the children said, "You will always walk with us, Mother, even when you have gone through the gates." And they stood and watched her as she went on alone, and the gates closed after her. And they said, "We cannot see her, but she is with us still." A mother like ours, a bubby like ours, a wife like ours, a friend like ours, is more than a memory. She is a living presence. So I feel a little bit like I am preaching to the choir here. You all know many, many more stories. There's just so much to tell about, well, all the Levinskys, but definitely about Liz and this family. So I did my best. I could not include everything, which is why other people get to speak too, and why we get to talk about her all we want. And she's not going to say too much back to us. Elizabeth, Liza, Liz, Mrs. Levinsky, Bubby. No matter what name you used, she would always look up with those bright eyes, a taste of anticipation, a smile on her face, and answer, "Yes," up until the very end. I have been with many people as they transitioned from this world to the next, but Liz took the cake. Visitor after visitor would be warmly greeted. She was comfortable. She was ready. She loved us, and we loved her. I don't think there was any member of her family, alive or passed on, that she didn't love. She told me of her parents, particularly her mother, from whom she learned to love others, to feed others, both physically and spiritually. My mother used to tell us kids when we got on her nerves, "Enough is too much." I don't know what Liz would say to her kids at that moment, but at other times, B'nai Mitzvah, Passover Seders, Thanksgiving, all family gatherings, enough was never enough. She wanted to make sure there was more than enough, so that everyone, family, their girlfriends and boyfriends, their friends, their neighbors, everyone could enjoy and feel satisfied. That's what gave her fulfillment. Making sure everyone was taken care of and that everyone was kind to one another. And that was what was important to her at the end, to make sure we all loved and took care of one another, especially family. She would joke with me about married life, rolling her eyes after hearing Phil's jokes for the millionth time, trying to get him to eat right or to put in his hearing aids. But 72 years is an amazing run, and there was a lot of love there. They were married here on this bima in 1951. They celebrated holidays and B'nai Mitzvah and many good times here in this building, as well as other buildings. They were and still are a stunning couple. Sitting around and reflecting on Liza's life the other night, Phil reminded us of a picture of an absolutely beautifully stunning young Elizabeth Zeitlin, which I think might be out there. He also reminded me of her amazing athletic ability. A Div 1 field hockey player, basketball, tennis, bike riding. I'm sure she never spoke about these things with me because her focus was on everyone else. She was smart, a lifelong learner, a teacher, a friend, a wife, a mother, a bubby to all, and to at least one person who spoke with me, a hero. But she would never talk about these things except with an eye roll and with great humility. I could talk about Liz and her love of family forever. She could too. But she also spoke to me about her love and trust in God. It was said that Noah walked with God. So did Elisheva bat Guta Rachel v'Chaim Gedalia. God was with her all the time, and still is. God was a great comfort to Liz, and I suspect her understanding of God came from the strong and loving values imparted to her by her parents. God, family, friends, traditions, love, and care were a comfort and support to her as she, in turn, took care of all of us. And when, I believe, she felt that she had achieved her earthly goals and had given all that she could, she gathered her beloveds together, spoke with them, us, clearly and lovingly, and then waited with slight impatience for God to take her back to her family. She laughed with me that last day. "I don't know," she said. "I've never done this before. I thought they gave you something and you just died." "No," I said, "no one's going to kill you." "Are you comfortable?" "Yes," she said, with that twinkle in her eye. "I'm drugged." She talked a lot. She was not only a grandmother, she was a great-grandmother. And you all, there's a lot of material out there for her beloved youngest great-grandson, Anthony. And I know that his family is watching now and is sorry they can't be here. But her love, she had so much love to give everyone and cared so much about everyone and spoke about, well, truly, she spoke about all of you. I don't want to make a family problem here because she loved her nieces and her nephews and her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren. And Phil, she even talked about you a little bit. She loved everyone, but her final thoughts, or her thoughts were about Anthony. So I do want to encourage you to pick up this from outside, and there's also a kind of a slideshow outside. I also planned to read you the poem that is out there because this is her, and she wrote it. It's called Elizabeth. I am from loving parents who were born in Russia and proud to be American citizens. I am from a Jewish family where spirituality filled the home. I am from a family of my own, loved more than life itself. I am from a place where love is freely given and freely returned. I am from a place of looking back and also looking forward to life. I am from the place where values are not written in cement, but evolve with knowledge and an open mind. I am from seeing a loved one. I am from seeing a loved ones being born and loved ones dying. I'm from the circle of life. I am from Old Orchard Beach, the sound, the smell, and the sand. I am from daughter, sister, wife, mother, bubby, and great-grandbubby. I am from a place where I am watching my children be me. I am from Maine, Saco, Orono, and Portland. I am from here. Oh, Liz, we will miss you, but you have given everyone and everything the greatest gift of all, love. So I'd like to invite Kenny forward to share some words.
Well, Rabbi, that was perfect. That was perfect. To come up after these wonderful remarks, I had to roll my eyes at the rabbi that I have to be next, but I am. And I have it here on my phone, and I have my glasses. And I will begin. As I look at those assembled here, and those of you joining us by stream, I know that each of you had a personal connection with my mother. My mother seemed to have had at least 100 hearts, with a unique and appreciative one for each of you. I also want to thank you all for being so supportive and in touch with her for a long time and also very recently. We sit in the sanctuary where my parents were married just over 72 years ago, where so many wonderful family and community events have been held. Well, at one point...
This one.
This one. This one. Here it is. Donated by Mr. and Mrs. Philip Levinsky in memory of her parents, Hyman and Rose Zaplin.
Of course, it's the rabbi's chair.
Yeah, silly me.
Sorry, Message.
All right, let's not zoom in so much on this here. Anyways, the rabbi's chair, sponsored by my mother's parents, where the rabbi sat during many, many of these special occasions. And in front of me is my mother's Jewish calendar, and she had one of these every year, and it's filled. It's filled till December 24. She already filled it, and it's filled with many of your birthdays, your anniversaries. Let's see here, and many other special events. I will do my best to carry on her tradition. And although I may not send you a specially selected greeting card with a personally written message, I will always do my best to remember you and your special days as she did. And that's what she did. She had to find the perfect card for each person and for the occasion. And she would send a personalized message. And I have all those cards that she sent me. In addition to all of us here and this particular place, my mother loved many things. She loved her parents, brothers, and sister. She loved growing up in Saco and journeying with her friends by foot or bike to downtown Biddeford and Ocean Park. Back in those days, 14-year-old girls would just go out for the whole day and go for miles, and they had certain places they wanted to go, and she just had the happiest childhood. Between her parents and her family and her friends and her community, she loved her childhood. She treasured it. She loved Thornton Academy and attending the University of Maine in Orono. She loved the University of Maine women's basketball team. And although she played club basketball, when they had an anniversary of the basketball team, they included her generation, sent her a T-shirt with Maine women's basketball on it. And she especially loved Cindy Blodgett. She loved books, crossword puzzles, where are the Brenners, and TV game shows. We played Jeopardy like 2 days before she passed away, and she got more right than me. She loved senior college and writing and photography. She loved Facebook, but not her laptop. her troublesome laptop. Few of you had to deal with it. My mother was especially proud of her constantly growing family, how big it had become, and yet how supportive and welcoming it remained. She always found room and time for all 100 of those hearts that I mentioned earlier of family and friends. And we are all blessed to have known her, to have felt her love, and to be given the opportunity to carry on as she would want us to do. Thank you. Thank you all here. Thank you all who are watching from all over the place. And I look forward to hearing from those of you who are here after the funeral, and hopefully you can join us at a gathering, probably between 1:30 and 3 o'clock right here in the social hall. My mother planned the menu, so you know it's going to be good, and you know there's going to be plenty for everyone, and she would like you to be able to be there. And to those of you who are watching, I look forward to FaceTiming with you, calling you, and we'll continue to connect as we always have. One great thing about my mother, I'll finish with this because I'm over 3 minutes, is that she was an attraction. I didn't have to invite cousins or friends to ever see me because I know they were already on Bubby's schedule. And I just had to say, Ma, who's coming this summer? When are they coming? And most of the time, I was able to be there. We'll miss that too. But thank you all. And now I'd like to invite my wife, Nancy.
Mishpacha, the Hebrew word for family. Bubby has been the glue of the Zeitlin-Levinsky families for many years. She has been the leader of the I want to always be there for you, and the perfect mentor to teach others how important it is to accept family and friends for who they are and love no matter what. Nothing exemplifies this more than those who traveled from California, Pennsylvania, Florida, Washington, D.C., and other places to see and spend a quiet moment with her when she was in hospice. Some of those people may not be here today, but how important it was for Bubby and her visitors to see her at hospice, to communicate with her and thank her for being in their lives. Bubby dedicated much of her life to be a listening ear to everyone who was lucky enough to know her. From Thanksgiving to Rosh Hashanah, to Purim, to Hanukkah, to birthday parties, something for everyone of all ages. In synagogue, in Old Orchard Beach, in Florida, in Portland, her heart was always open for her friends and family. Bubby has 3 children. She has 8 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. Each of us may not be able to be the glue individually, but together we can support each other through thick or thin. That is what Bubby wants, and we can pass on her tradition to every generation.
And I'd like to invite Gregory forward.
Before I get started, I think it's important to note that I'm one of many grandchildren here and grandchildren that she had. And we all had really special and unique experiences with her, but I hope some of my words resonate with my cousins and my uncles and the man up front. A few hours after we found out Bubby passed away, I went for a run. And after finishing, instinctively and out of habit, I went to call her, as I've done every day since going off to college 8 years ago. Those calls, usually at 8 a.m., highlighted my day, and I like to think they improved hers too. No matter what issue I brought to her attention on any one of those calls, she'd find a way to calm me down, offering the love and support she had for all of us here today. In short, Bubby always delivered. When I saw her for the last time, which was actually a week ago today, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I was worried, what do I say? How will this go? I haven't had an experience quite like this before. And much to my surprise, or maybe not, Bubby delivered. There she was again, comforting me. The Bubby who I grew up, and many of us grew up adoring, showed herself again for a last time. I thought that I was supposed to console her, but instead, in that moment, she was consoling me. And on that final visit, we talked about some of our favorite shared memories, and I think my cousins can relate to a lot of these in their own way from growing up. And here are a few of the highlights. When I was 12, I started coaching basketball. I'll never forget her and Zadie coming into the Riverton School gym just before tip-off on most of those Saturday mornings, rolling in, sitting in the corner, away from the bench. And when the parents of the kids I was coaching or spectators would ask them who they were there to see, and Bubby said this last week, she proudly proclaimed, "I'm here to watch the coach," which was me. I remember her and Zadie also coming to my Deering High School tennis matches. Zadie still drove then, but they didn't come out of the car. However, I could always count on that blue Hyundai Sonata to be parked where the hill goes down on Fuller Street, next to the court that I was playing on every single time. And road matches too. Bubby was the youngest of 4. I'm the youngest of 8, counting my cousins. And she always called us both, even into her 90s, the babies. And she would usually call me her darling boychicle baby. And lastly, Bubby and Zadie, and I think my parents and whoever else, loves my hugs. I still feel the last one we shared. I was blown away by her strength, her firm grip, and her kiss on my forehead. I could always count on Bubby, and I always will. Wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
I'd like to invite Bruce forward to, on behalf of himself and his part of the family.
Everybody has spoke so beautifully of my mother. Thank you, and thank you all for coming today. My wife and 2 children and grandchildren and their spouses couldn't make it for various reasons, but they're watching now, and I say hello to them. My wife has known my mother for 50 years, and that was another mother for my wife, and they had a wonderful relationship. I'm going to start with Denise. She wrote this last night. She's the oldest, she's the first grandchild. To my dear Bubby, my best friend, my role model, my inspiration, and my heart. We have been bounded from the day I was born and every day following. I love you. My love for you is so deep and never ending. We shared so many beautiful memories together, from our sleepovers at the beach to going to see the Nutcracker Ballet every year and much more. You are also the most amazing great Bubby to Brendan, and Brendan, one of my grandsons, is so lucky to have been able to develop such a deep and meaningful relationship with you. You are also the best Bubby to Nick. You are not only my Bubby, but my best friend. I looked forward to our daily phone calls. I love you with my entire heart. I know you will always still be with me every step of the way. Love you, love you, love you. That's from Denise. And this is from Isaac. Hello, my name is Isaac Levinsky. I am one of Bubby's grandsons. Bubby gave the best hugs. She had a superpower of bringing people together. She was the center of our family and extended family. Bubby cared so much for her family and friends, and she was so warm and loving. She used to sit with me at my infusions for Crohn's disease at the hospital and keep me company. She attended all my tennis matches. Bubby loved my partner Terry and my son Anthony, her youngest great-grandson. Anthony and Bubby had a special bond. Bubby's wishes were to share about Anthony's genetic disease, CASK, C-A-S-K, gene disorder, and share his GoFundMe for gene therapy. Bubby, we cherish all our memories with you. I love you, and we miss you so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Eshet Chayil Miyimsa. What a precious find is an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy and extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household and never eats the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband praises her and says, "Many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all." Charm is deceitful and beauty vain, but a God-revering woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand. Wherever people gather, her deeds speak her praise. From Proverbs 31. She asked for that. She also planned for that. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, 1,000 years in your sight are as a passing day, an hour of night. The generations come and go while you endure forever. We are always in your hand, Adonai, in death as in life. Help us who mourn the loss of Elizabeth Zeitlin Levinsky, Elisheva bat Gutarachel v'Chaim Gedalia, to look beyond this moment, to realize that death cannot destroy the bonds of your everlasting love. Sustain us with the knowledge afforded by faith that you will not allow us to suffer oblivion, for you, Eternal One, have taught us the way of life. Through you we gain eternity, and let us say, Amen. Following our service here, we will go to the Temple Bethel Memorial Park for interment. And then, as Kenny mentioned, you're invited back here for what we all do so well, whether it's a happy time, a sad time, an in-between time. we eat together. I must say, for all the wonderful things we heard today, she also comforted me when I visited her, both at the hospital and at hospice. And I don't know that I knew that she had the power that she had. I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know it. And it's something that really has blown me away. And so I invite you, as we're mourning, as we're sad, as we're thinking of this generation. I almost want you to plug your ears, but they're practically plugged. So, Phil, I don't want you to hear this because you're still here, and we are so thrilled that you are still here. But we're watching an older generation pass away, and I know that they live through each one of us and those who are watching. And that's probably one of the best blessings that can happen. And that's pretty much what she told me it should be like. So we'll follow her lead. We'll come back, we'll eat, we'll laugh, we'll cry. And is there anything else that you'd like me to? Okay, I got everything. So I invite you to rise as I recite the El Malei Rachamim, and then we'll follow outside. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Ashchina, B'mahalot Kedoshim Utohorim, Kezohar Rakia Mazirim, Et Nishmat Elisheva Bagutaracha V'chaim Gedalia, Shehalcha L'olama, B'gan Eden Tehei Menuchata, Ana Bal Rachamim, Hastireha B'seter Kanafecha L'olamim, Utzror B'tzror HaChaim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata V'tanuach b'shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. El Malei Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Elizabeth Zeitlin Levinsky, Elisheva Bakutarachu V'chaim Gedalia, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that she find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen.
printer, was a postscript printer. $4,500 I paid them for the printer. I paid $7,500 for that little computer.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
That's how far it's come.
Oh my gosh, and now you pay about that much for a phone.
Hey, take good care of yourself.
Thank you, you too. You'll see me around town. Good, good, good.